I'm Joey.T.Cartoon.P, and you're watching Cartoon Palooza. You may be surprised to know, but I'm not a fan of the animated series based off the popular Transformers toy line. I was growing up in the 90s when the height of the show's popularity was dying out. Yeah, well, you could technically say I had Beast Wars, but all I remember was the outdated CG that made Reboot look like Rembrandt. I watched the G1 series, as the fans refer to it as, and found nothing special about it, or at least enough to warrant the huge praise it gets. Other than some neat designs, it's mostly typical 80s cheese and awkward television set animation, nothing more than that. Added on the fact that I see it more as a marketing ploy to sell more toys. So when people try to convince me that Optimus Prime is a living, breathing character as badass as Batman, he's nothing more than a piece of plastic you find at Walmart to me.
You're an action figure! You are a child's plaything!
That's why when the first Transformers film based on the animated show as directed by Michael Bay came out, I didn't mind it so much. It's no Avengers, but it does deliver on some fun characters, action, and set pieces. It was obvious after the success that it would spawn a sequel, and because production was going through a writer's strike, there was going to be some problems.
I am directly below! The enemy screwed him!
Big problems. So let's roll out and watch the second film, Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen. Our movie opens with what sounds like a robot farting in front of the DreamWorks logo. The Autobots, led by Optimus Prime, work with the humans as part of a covert task force to take down the enemy, the Decepticons. However, I'd be giving them credit by calling them covert. They're about as subtle as a stampede in a China warehouse. Just look at what they do in Shanghai. But because the main focus isn't on the giant robots fighting, it shifts to our main protagonist, Sam Witwicky, as he goes to school. Nothing like paying to go see a movie called Transformers to get duped into watching awkward family dilemmas too silly for the Disney Channel. But that's before a piece of the last film's MacGuffin turns all of his kitchen appliances into little gremlins that quite frankly need a censor bar. Keep it classy, Michael Bay. As you would imagine, Sam going to school causes conflict with his robot guardian Bumblebee and his girlfriend Michaela, who's introduced in the film in a way that teenage boys would confuse cheesecake for female empowerment. It doesn't help that Megan Fox spends most of the screen time looking pretty and reading memorized lines that's supposed to give her the illusion that she's a believable character.
You kept your nasty shredded clothes? Wow, you're pretty confident, huh? You think your little box of souvenirs is gonna keep me from leaving you?
If I wanted that in real life, I would have had lunch with Tammy Lynn at Hooters.
You kept your nasty shredded clothes?
However, because a piece of the MacGuffin bot imprints information about an imminent Decepticon force, he begins making derpy faces, slapping pussy calendars, and catching the attention of a female who destroys the appeal of these characters and to their fans. So this must be part of Hasbro's new line of blow-up dolls, the Skanky-Cons. Sam takes down the robot with the help of Michaela, when she drives her car to the corner of Washington and William Street in Princeton, New Jersey. You might be wondering how I know that little insignificant detail. Well, allow me to explain. I would know because they shot the movie here in Princeton, New Jersey a couple of years back. A friend at the library was telling me that they were filming at Princeton University for Sam's school. Heck, if you're even in the area, stop by Massimo's and pick up a slice of pizza while looking at Bumblebee's hood and an autographed shooting script for the film. You'll actually notice it's very thin to no surprise.
You would never imagine one of the most prestigious schools in the world would have a shot of a mother high on pot on their lawn.
Hey, Professor, I'd do anything for an A.
The Decepticon scheme involves a 1,000-year-old robot called the Fallen. He's voiced by Tony Todd, who most people would associate to the horror character the Candyman. Me personally, I see him as Bloodworth from the Final Destination films.
You see, Michael Bay, death is a plan where each time you make these god-awful movies, one of your loyal fans would die one by one.
Along with the recently revived Megatron, his scheme involves blocking the sun with a giant gun, but could only proceed when every Prime is dead. So when everybody's favorite leader of the Autobots' life is taken at the hands of Megatron, the Fallen scheme is set into motion. Now don't get too heavily attached, he dies as often as I gel my hair. Sam is now a fugitive since the Allspark gives him information about finding a tool responsible for stopping the Fallen's Doomsday device. Because the Decepticons need him, through the media they make Sam into the world's most wanted person. Rather than bringing himself in, Sam goes on a quest to find a way of stopping the Fallen scheme. This leads to the plot, which eventually follows a pattern. Sam finds out information about stopping the device, only to go somewhere else and find more information about stopping the device. This brings him to another place that gives him information about stopping the device. Then lo and behold, takes him to another place that gives him more information about stopping the device. I guess if this were done in a way where the journey is made into an adventure with likable characters and relatable emotions conveyed by the scenes and situations, this would work. However, each stop introduces us to a different comic relief that's either painfully offensive, incredibly stupid, or unimaginably vulgar for a movie based on toys marketed for young boys. So after our long and nonsensical journey comes to an end in Egypt where the Fallen is readying their device, Sam is being hunted down in one of the movie's repetitive, incomprehensible, migraine-inducing action sequences. To add to the disappointment of watching metal clash with metal, with an incredibly shaky camera and incoherent looking designs, we get Sam's parents in the middle of the action for no reason at all, other than to enforce the film's supposed message about leaving home and becoming a full adult.
You gotta let me go, Dad. You have to let me go. You have to.
Well, too bad we see Sam bite the dust a scene later. So after it seems like all hope is lost, and there wasn't enough shots of Megan Fox's cleavage, we get one of the stupidest scenes in film history. Shia LaBeouf goes to robot heaven.
Our last descendant, with courage and with sacrifice, the virtues of a leader. A leader worthy of our secret. The matrix of leadership is not found, it is earned. Return now to Optimus. Merge the matrix with his spark. It is, and always has been, your destiny.
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf goes to robot heaven, and how he doesn't come across the soul of my dead computer after punching the screen out of frustration on how stupid this scene is anybody's guess. They're the Primes who give Sam the piece that can bring back Optimus Prime from the dead. I don't even know how to finish this up, it's so predictable at this point. Prime comes back to life and kills the Fallen. I'm guessing he goes to robot hell with the Chingy bot from Robots. Sam gets the girl, everybody's happy, and Linkin Park is dead to me for continuing to provide music for this franchise's soundtrack. Also for having a badass music video that I forgot to include in my countdown last time. And that was Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, where millions of dollars were spent to make robot genital jokes, racist stereotypes, and awkward family dilemmas. This quite honestly has to be the stupidest movie I had to have reviewed on the Palooza so far, which says a lot when considering that I mostly watch dumbass kids movies. It's a waste of talent that goes from great animators at Industrial Light and Magic, good actors like John Turturro, Hugo Weaving, and even Shia LaBeouf. I am probably in the minority of people who think LaBeouf can be a good actor with good direction and writing. Maybe it's because I've seen him work on stuff where he has pulled off good performances.
Just make sure you keep him away from Michael Bay and Daniel Clowes comics.
To show you how underwhelming this movie was for me, take a talented voice actor like Tom Kenny who has played complex characters to iconic ones, and make him talk city slang with some stupid ass designs.
Time to get my sexy on with green. Green? No, green is mine. I'll call green. I got the green. That hurt, man. It's supposed to hurt. It's an ass kicking.
Obviously, Michael Bay and the Three Stooges that make up his writing team decided that making him voice a racist black and ethnic Italian-American stereotype was the real deal.
Let's just hope that Aaron Kruger, one of the writers to this film, avoids using Tom Kenny or any of the characters from this film like that when he's making live-action Dumbo.
I seriously think people working on this film should be ashamed of themselves for making one of the biggest cash grabs while offering little to nothing in return. This movie gets a huge, transforming forget about it.
It leads me to my question for the day. If you were a Transformer, what would you transform into? Me personally, I would transform into Iggy Azalea's bicycle seat. You know, if the movie spends 90 minutes of my time making tasteless jokes, I'm allowed to make a couple. I'm Joey Tedesco, and I'm rolling out.